Hello, in today's vlog I will be sharing the Starfish class's current project. I am doing this as a way to make visible the way in which we develop our long-term projects and the learning that occurs as a result. In Reggio we use the word Progettazione to describe the projecting forward or planning ahead of our curriculum or what is going to happen in the classroom. It is the act or art of making projects. In the Reggio classroom, the children are instrumental in deciding on topics and formulating the learning that will take place. The adults are seen as co-constructors and co-learners. This vlog will give insight into the decision-making process that goes into these long-term projects and show how the children drive the process forward. This learning story begins during an inquiry into patterns and cycles of life. One of the provocations I had put out was a construction toy which is made up of little pipes that can be slotted together. The first thing the children chose to build was musical instruments. They played them with great relish, and we had a number of concerts that week. This interest in music led me to decide to bring patterns in music into our patterns and cycles inquiry. To begin this inquiry, we made songs. I have a set of colored tonal bells which I brought to school. Each child was given 5 popsicle sticks which they placed in a pattern to create a song. Each color stick corresponded to one of the colors on the set of bells. We then played each bell in the order of the colored sticks the child had placed on the floor. The children really enjoyed this and even stayed after ring to play some more music. The children were so engaged by this ring that during a discussion with my colleagues I decided to just scrap my idea for the next day's ring and rather extend the current idea. You will notice that at many points during this project I have made the decision to stretch out or expand on topics that have really captured the children's interest and inspired joy. This leads to curriculum that is responsive to the children's passions and constantly moving to keep pace with the children and their constructed ideas. It does not teach what children have no interest in knowing just yet. It stays in what Vygotsky called the zone of proximal development. The next day we composed a song as a class, with each child contributing 3 sticks to the piece. We stuck each set to a piece of paper and played it on the set of bells. Then each child suggested a name for the song, and we voted as a class for our favorite name. Voting was a totally new concept which we introduced during this ring time. The inquiry led to a new understanding that they could only vote for one name and that had to be their favorite. In the end, the song was named Birdsong. To continue the inquiry of birdsong, I decided we should try to get to truly know our song. So we looked at it in a different way, in a 3D format. We built our song with blocks. First we made a graph with 1 block for each note represented in the song. We discovered that the purple tower was the tallest, and that we had the most purple notes in our song. The green tower was the shortest, and that had the least notes in the song. Then we placed 1 block for every note color in the song, end to end, and got a very long line of blocks. "It's a train," said Michael, and everyone agreed. So then we went on an imaginary train ride, with sound effects and all, to the beach. As you can see here, ring times have a plan, but are also open to possibilities the child brings with them. These possibilities can be picked up and run with as long as the teacher is listening and in tune with her class. The bells I used to play the song each have a note assigned to them. This enabled me to translate our song onto different instruments. We used some wind chimes, the glockenspiel, and a wooden xylophone. We also went to the small world piano and tried it on that. I then asked others to help me play the song on some other instruments. We had Hile playing it on recorder, and my husband Stephen played it on his electric guitar in a few different ways. In discussion with colleagues, I decided to continue with birdsong this term. I wanted to see if we could create a singable song with words which could become a special song for the Starfish class. Together with my husband and a guitar, we created a song with verses and a chorus from the original birdsong. We used all the same notes and simply repeated some of the phrases. I played this for the children and they really enjoyed it. It's got a lovely rhythm to it and the children loved dancing and clapping along. The next part of this Progettazione, or process of curriculum design, was to somehow get the children to write their own words to the song. Knowing how difficult it is for adults to write words for songs, I began to think of alternative ways to write the song. I was inspired by Hule's idea of telling stories with the rainbow class with puppets. I realized that a lot of songs are actually stories to music. So I opened up our inquiry to storytelling. We began just telling general stories using story dice and story stones. Here the children each got a chance to add a piece to the story we created as a class. The next storytelling week I wanted to introduce the idea of birds. I did this through a provocation with birds which the children could use to tell stories. However, the topic of bird is so broad that I decided to narrow the scope by looking at the birds I had seen in the Small World Garden, the things the children already knew about. We also pretended to be birds ourselves and told stories with little bird stick puppets that I had made. The children loved the birds of Small World provocation, but the birds I had created were small, and the children asked why this was. They also pointed out some birds I had missed. Willow asked why there wasn't an owl for her to play with, and Noah and his mom were looking for a grey lory. So the following week, in response to this, I created a set of bigger birds and included an owl and a grey lory. The children loved these bigger birds and responded really well to them. We then told stories with these birds of Small World. In order to document all these stories, Naz and I took on the task of writing the children's words and using voice recorders to record the words as well. I wanted to make sure that we got the exact speech patterns and grammar that the children used so that our song would be authentically theirs. I documented all these stories, and you are welcome to come and read them in the Starfish class. We had some really fun and fabulous stories. Erwin said, "My birdie is into space." Noah said, "Mine is going to the dinosaur park." Canella said, "He's flying in the high up sky and he does fall down. Then he goes, then he fly again. Then he's in the air." Willow said, "My dove is going to find a car and break a car, and then it's going to eat the car." They have learned so much more than just storytelling techniques through this project. Some of the other things they have learned were the important social skills of taking turns, accepting others' points of view, and allowing others to speak for themselves. After this whole process, I used one of their favorite group stories to create the words for the song. While I was away, the children drew some wonderful bird pictures in the atelier. This and a conversation with Sarah inspired me to continue forging a path forward with this inquiry. The children continued to show interest and amazement at the song they have created. So we are now looking at creating a music video for our song out of drawings the children helped to make. When children can have an experience of constructing knowledge that is co-created together with the input of peers and teachers, their education becomes rich and multifaceted. When they can have an experience of working together on a long-term project instead of being exposed at surface level to activities unrelated to each other, then children learn how to learn, not only what to learn. In Africa we say, give someone a fish and feed them for a day. Teach someone to fish and you feed them for a lifetime. And it's not only the children who are learning. As a teacher, I am also learning how to fish or how to construct knowledge. Through this project, I have learned the importance of slowing down, as many skills, sometimes the softer skills, are learnt in the process. I have learnt to respond to what kids are hooked into. This establishes me as a co-creator and co-researcher in the children's eyes, someone equally willing to learn. I have learned that discussions with colleagues are of great value, as this form of social co-construction is a way in which we learn together and from each other, just as the children do. I have learnt that there is a great deal of social skills that can be learnt through storytelling. And now, a special rendition of the Starfish class's birdsong. Owlet's flying for some food. The owlet's flying to the zoo. She's catching a big rat for her babies. The rat's not fast enough. The owlet's flying for some food. The owlet's flying to the zoo. They have great big eyes to catch the rats. She catched it for the babies. As they fly in the sky, the high up sky, eyes bright tonight.